I believe that it's a movement for world peace. I believe it's a movement for, we're all speaking up for something that we believe in. And, as U.S. citizens, we have our rights. We have the freedom of speech. And that's simply what we're doing. And, we're not out there purposely looting. We're not out there just breaking things just because we're outraged. We're breaking things because, there's a motive behind it. Like, how are you going to just allow police to come out? And I've seen several videos. I'm very active on social media. I'm very active. That's actually how I was told to, call this number and, use my voice as a platform to explain exactly what's going on. It's just, the way I see it is this movement is bigger than everybody. And the fact that, people are protesting the protest, like, that's the scariest thing I've ever seen. Like, what happened in Huntington Beach, I don't know if you guys are aware of what happened in Huntington Beach, but there was a massive gathering of people who were protesting the Black Lives Matter.
Tito Ortiz
now,
was out there.
I'm sorry?
MMA fighter. No, it's Chuck Liddell. It was an MMA fighter out there.
Yeah. And I just don't get it. Like, I had a couple friends who attended that, and, they were, I don't want to say like they were on our side, but, in this time and, what's going on, it's kind of like you pick a side and you just stay there. You can't be wishy-washy. You can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You're like, oh, Black Lives Matter, all lives matter. Like, no lives matter until Black Lives Matter, because, this has just been going on for so long. And we're living through it to this day. And, like, multiple presidents have fought for freedom. And what freedom is there? There's no freedom. Like, how are we going to celebrate July 4th? That's the celebration of independence and freedom. How are we going to do that if we don't even have that? You can't. It's kind of hypocritical, in my opinion.
And they're also, not only are the protests happening, I mean, there's rioting, there's looting, and in the South, they are tearing down a bunch of white supremacist Confederate monuments. Now, in LA, it's a little bit different, but from what you've seen, as far as, let's say, looters, would-be looters, people who may be, provocateurs of some kind, how do you address that faction?
Well, so a lot of things that, I mean, I fortunately haven't seen anybody, at the protests that I've gone to, I haven't seen anything get too crazy. But these looters, I mean, on Twitter, I saw this guy who literally did it just for the clout, and I was like, wow, clout's a hell of a drug. Like, how are you going to go and do that because you want, these followers? Like, you have to be sick in the head to go and do that. And, the previous person that was on the phone, like, I agree, like, there's a difference between going and looting because you don't have health care, which a lot of Americans don't at this point. There's a huge difference. You're doing it to survive. It's almost like you're fighting for your life at this point. And I don't want to get too political because I could care less about politics. But, under this martial law, it's essentially like we've just fallen under Trump's dictatorship. And we've lost our rights as U.S. citizens. It's unfair. Like, what is this whole thing with the curfews? Like, how are you just going to tell people to just go home at a certain time? That's kind of BS.
And how?
Like, I understand.
Go ahead.
Sorry?
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Like I understand. Like, you don't want people out on the streets because of the looting and everything going on. But like, I have never, and even my parents, and even people that are well older than my parents, they said I have never seen a president come out and say, something that is so just it's scary. That's the fact that Trump can say when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Like, how can you say that to your people? And then you go on and you go and turn the lights off in the White House. No president has ever done that. I see that as him just saying, I'll just let my people figure it out. And his people are the ones that are out there, beating innocent people. I've seen guys on their knees saying, I'm innocent. I didn't do anything. Please, 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 spare me, spare me. And a cop takes a baton and whacks them right in the head. For what? We're peacefully protesting. We're out there trying to get a point across. And these police officers, obstruction of power. Sorry, Trump, dude. Like, you got to get out of office, dude. There's a problem if you're okay with this. Mayor Garcetti came out and he said something about, like, we stand with our police officers. They're doing what we asked of them. I'm sorry, that's not a way to lead. That's not a way to lead any district, any city. It's really not. I've seen videos where it says Republicans for getting Trump out of office, and I loved that. I was kind of taken back that I saw a video where it was showing police brutality, like it was a video of Trump saying, just mocking things that we're fighting for, and in the background there's clips of police brutality. And then at the very end it goes, Republicans for Trump to get out of office. And that was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. The most beautiful thing I've ever seen, because if a leader can't lead a country that is in turmoil, and if he can't help his people, we the people, then I'm sorry, you are not fit to lead this country. You do not belong in that office. My opinion, this dude belongs in jail, if I'm being honest. But that's a whole other story that I'm not going to go on about.
That's a tangent. It's okay. We do that here.
It's a tangent. Yep, TDs and tangents. Yep. Here's a tangent. I'll give a tangent.
Okay,
so I was talking to Pete earlier. I don't know if is Pete there right now?
Nah, Pete's at the house.
No, okay. Well, he's probably listening, but, him and I were talking about the Rams, and I'm sorry, I'm no longer a Rams fan because of those jerseys and, the new logo. So there's my tangent for the night. Yeah, there's my tangent for the night right there. I've revoked my Rams fanship. I'm now an unrestricted free agent.
Come to the dark side. They're in Vegas.
The last place I want to go is Vegas.
That's a good point. I mean, it's Vegas. Vegas and Corona is wild. Vegas and Corona in the fall is even crazier. But with that, what offends you more, the Rams uniforms or the curfew, and how did it affect you in Eastville?
So the curfew was, I believe it was set at 7. I believe it was 7. Well, during the protest, they were kind of lenient. They let us, we spoke to the officers and we said, we want to close this protest out with a moment of silence. And everybody that attended that protest got down on one knee, and we held a moment of silence. And the police officers were very respectful. And I was actually greeted by an officer as I was walking to my car, and he said, "Thank you for coming out. Please get home safely." And I thought that was just very respectful, and that's the way you use your badge. You don't want to inflict some kind of predetermined hatred towards cops. Because right now it's easy to just come up with a bias and say, cops are assholes, cops are pigs. I mean, granted some are, but that just left a good taste in my mouth. It was very pleasant to hear that from an officer that was there. And he was actually white as well, which was even better, which actually, it made me feel better about going out and being in the front line. And I'm actually working on another protest with this journalist that I've been talking to, and she's using her platform. And we're working on another protest here in Eastville this Saturday from 3 to 6 p.m. And we have a bunch of ideas. I'm trying to push the envelope for a July 4th protest, but I'm not trying to disrespect the country. I'm trying to get everybody to come together for a greater cause. I'm trying to support the small businesses that are in Eastville or around Eastville, and I'm trying to give back to the community. Because we have a picnic in the park where everybody comes out and, we watch the fireworks. But, I don't see that happening, mainly because Corona. But, coronavirus is coming back. Please, people, wear your masks if you go to protests. But, yeah, I've been very active with the Black Lives Matter, with police brutality, with justice for George Floyd, justice for Breonna Taylor, justice for, Ahmaud Arbery, for everybody. I'm seeing all these petitions circulating around social media for, African Americans that are wrongfully accused of crimes that they didn't do. And I'm actively signing every single petition. I've probably signed 20 to 25 petitions. And it's a beautiful thing to see everybody. I've seen petitions with over 4 million signatures on there for somebody that didn't do the crime that they were accused of doing. And so I see this as, we need a lot more people to come out, and we need a lot more people to speak their mind, because we are simply exercising our rights as U.S. citizens, and we are simply using our freedom of speech.
Thank you. I appreciate your candor. Appreciate you opening up. And again, there's space on the Raiders bandwagon. So thank you, Lil Woo. Appreciate you. Have a safe night. God bless.
God bless. Thank you.
Oh, man. All right. Well, this is another round of applause. Oh, man. Wow. So, the best thing about what I've seen from protesting, and everyone, at least this time around, what sadly, it took the death of about 3 or 4 black people just on insane levels to cause the whole country to snap, throwing a pandemic and a white supremacist for president. To see what's become of this on multiple levels, it warms my heart, because I know there was a point in time where we were like, yo, my mom was even like, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with us. But the fact that the world is standing up against this, white supremacy in particular, police brutality, standing up against the injustice, it's a beautiful thing. And again, I'm not from, Eastville or Riverside or any of those places. I'm from East Oakland, California. I'm from Hawthorne, California. And as a black man, first and foremost, I'm that before you add anything else. I'm a son, I'm a brother, I'm a journalist, podcast host, dominant, just outright, outrageously, insanely great dominoes player. I retired like my whole family playing dominoes. It's not a game. Don't get your feelings hurt over here. But above all that, I'm a black male. And what I want people to understand is, especially non-black people, I was taught this world is a cruel motherfucker at the age of about 4 years old. The average black child is somewhere between 3 and 7. If you're like super advanced and you can talk and you can understand things, your black parents have the burden of teaching oppression to their